Hello and welcome to another Get On With Maths video. Today in our Gradu8 series we're going to be having a look at 4 operations, including the use of decimals as well. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to have a look at the 8 questions on your screen. I want you to pause the video and then have a go at them. When you've done them and you think you've got them all right and you're ready to go through some answers, unpause the video and I'll go through each of the solutions. So guys, pause the video now and have a go at the questions. Okay, hopefully you've unpaused the video now and there's a chance to go through each of these. You'll have noticed obviously there's a range of different questions here. You've got addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, all to do with your operations. Okay, so I'm going to start up in this corner up here. I'm going to have a look at this question, 6.92 add 4.3. It's probably one of the easiest questions on there. All I would be doing to answer this one is laying out your method, making sure that this decimal point lines up like the buttons on a shirt. Okay, so you've got 6.92 add 4.3. Okay, just for ease, I'm going to put this 0 in here, or is adding it on to the back there. Okay, nice and easy then, lining up your addition. 2 add 0 is 2, 9 add 3 is 12, so I've got 2, carry the 1, put your decimal point back in, 6 add 4 is 10, add the 1 is 11, and carry that one there. So you've got 11.22. Okay, really simple. Just make sure you're lining up these decimal points like the buttons on a shirt. If we go to this question here now, I've got a multiplication. Okay, so what I'm going to do to make this one nice and easy for me is I'm going to put it into a grid. Now, normally when you lay them out in a grid, you're using your tens, your hundreds, your units. So to make this question easier, for a second, I'm going to pretend that it's 32 times 57. Okay, and that's scrunched up in there. So if it's 32 times 57, what I'm going to do is 32 times 57. Okay, and you can see this one here. Now I'm going to lay out my grid method. Apologies for the slightly scruffy laying out of this one. So I'm going to do this easy one down the bottom here. 2 times 7 is 14. I've then got 50 times 2 is 100. 3 times 7, or 30 times 7 is 210. I'm just going to squeeze that in there. And then 30 times 50. Well, I know that 3 times 5 is 15. And then I've got those 2 zeros. Okay, so I'm going to put those 2 zeros in there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all of those up. Okay, so I've got 1,500, add 100, add 210, add 14. Okay, so hopefully this is how you laid yours out as well. Okay, if we're adding those up now, nice and easy. 4 in here, 2 in here, 5 and 1 is 6, add the 2 is 8, and then 1 on the end. If you're looking at that answer, you've got 1,824. Obviously, that's not going to be the right answer because we were doing 3.2 times 5.7. What I'd say to do is have a look at what these numbers are roughly. This is roughly 3. I'd say this is roughly 6. 3 times 6 is 18. I know I need an answer around that. I've got 1 digit here after the decimal place, and I've got another 1 here after the decimal place. So, on my answer, I'm going to start at the back here. I'm going to count in 1, 2 jumps, and I'm going to put a decimal point in there to give me a final answer of 18.24. Okay, subtraction question then, nice and easy on this one. You've got 26.3 take away 16.02. Just like you did on this question over here earlier on, we added in a 0. Okay, I'm going to go back to this one and I'm going to add a 0 in here. Okay, that's going to make that question a little bit easier. So now what I'm going to do, 0 take away 2 I can't do, so I'm going to have to borrow from this 3, turns it into a 2, makes that a 10. 10 take away 2 is 8. 2 take away nothing is 2, decimal point in the middle there. 6 take away 6 is nothing, and 2 take away 1 is 1. So you've got 10.28. Remember, you can check that answer quite easily by just adding that back on and checking you started out with your original amount. Okay, we're going to have a look at this one down here now, and it's obviously another times question. So my method on the earlier question, was to lay it out in a grid, okay, and pretend that these are whole numbers. Okay, so I'm going to round this one and say that it's 323. So I'm going to go 323, and then this one here is going to be 18. Okay, so that's me pretending that those are nice, easy numbers for me to deal with. Okay. Once I've laid out my grid method, really easy now, I'm just going to go through each of those stages. So 3 times 8, okay, is 24. 3 times 10 is 30. Okay, now You may have laid these out in a column method, that's absolutely fine too. I've gone for this method today just as it's one of the easier ones to show, and it's a really nice easy one visually to pick up all the marks you need to. 300 times 8, well earlier on you did 3 times 8, okay, and you knew that was 24. And now you've got those 2 zeros on the end. And then you're going to do 300 times 10, well that's really simple, and that's going to be 3,000, okay? So nice and easy then, make sure you're filling out that grid each time and you're making sure that you're adding all of these up to get your final answer, okay? So just to speed this one up a little bit, I'm just going to add these up really quickly and give us an answer. So you should have a final answer of 5,814. Now is that my final answer? You've got 1, 2, 3 numbers after the decimal places, so you're going to go 1, 2, 3, count in from the right, and your decimal point goes there. If you were rounding these, this would be a 3, this would probably be a 2, 3 times 2 is 6, and that number is around 6, so you know it works. Okay, over here then, slightly different style of question, we've got a division question. 43 divided by 8, so 43 goes there, 8 outside our bus stop. Okay, how many 8s go into 4? Well, obviously that doesn't work, so I'm going to cross that 4 out, carry it across here, and just put a 0 on the top. So how many 8s go into 43? Well, I know that there are 5 8s in 40, so I'm going to put my 5 up here. But that would still leave 3 left over. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a decimal place, I'm going to put a 0, and I've got 3 left over, so I'm going to put a 3 here. Okay? Now if you look at this stage, how many 8s go into 30? There are 3, that would take me to 24. That leaves me with 6 left over. So again, I'm going to just lay this one out and go across here. So this time you're doing how many 8s go into 60. Okay, so how many 8s go into 60? So if you count those up, you've got 7, okay, because 7 times 8 is 56, which would leave us with 4. Another 0. How many 8s go into 40? Nice and easy, it's 5. So it's a little bit of a longer process, but you just need to jump through those steps and stages, make sure you're laying out your bus stop division, and then follow those through. Okay, we've got another subtraction down here. It looks complicated because it's got lots of digits, but actually this is probably one of the easier questions on here. So 304.03, take away 133.25. Okay, so we've laid out our column method, and we're now just going to go through those steps and stages. Now, if you look here, 3 take away 5 you can't initially do. So normally you'd look at the next digit across, which is 0, but I can't borrow from that 0 either. So I'm going to have to do a little long-winded process. I'm going to borrow from this 4 here, which turns it into a 3, and brings a 1 over here. And then I'm going to borrow from this 10, turn it into a 9, and I'm going to put a 1 here. 13 take away 5 is 8, 9 take away 2 is 7, 3 take away 3 is 0, and now I've got 0 take away 3, can't do it, so I'm going to borrow again. 10 take away 3 is 7, and 2 take away 1 is 1. Nice and easy there, gives me an answer of 170.78. Division question here, okay, slightly different. What we're going to do this time, because we're dividing by a decimal, decimals are obviously slightly more difficult to deal with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this decimal. And to get rid of this decimal, I'm going to times this number by 10. Because if I times it by 10, that becomes a 12. Now, because I've times that side by 10, I'm going to do the same over here as well. So this becomes 720. So now I'm going to do 720 divided by 12. And because I've made them both bigger, but in scale to one another, the answer is going to be exactly the same as the answer to this one here. So I'm going to set up my bus stop, 720 divided by 12. How many 12s go into 7? Well, that's nice and easy. There are none. Okay, so I'm going to put a 0 here. How many 12s go into 72? There are 6. And how many 12s go into 0? There are none. So it gives me a final answer of 60. And that's the exact same answer to 72 divided by 1.2. Can you imagine all those 1.2s, okay, inside 72? There are loads of them, there are 60 of them. Okay, for this last question then, we've got another addition. So what I'm going to do is just lay out our column method. So we've got 6.02, add 24.7. So remember what I said about decimal points being like buttons on a shirt? If you lay them out like this, okay, so you've got those 2 decimal points there, you can see there's a gap here. So I'm just going to put a 0 in as a placeholder there. Okay, lay out your method. This is an addition question. 2 add 0 is 2, 0 add 7 is 7, decimal point goes here. 6 add 4 is 10, so I'm going to put a 0 here and a 1 across here, and then 2 add 1 is 3. Okay guys, quite a long video then, just going through lots and lots of different things, so pay particular attention to those multiplying and dividing steps. Make sure you're completely comfortable with your decimals. If you're not, go back through, watch the video again and try and improve your understanding. If not, come and ask me a question or send us an email and we can go through things further. Remember to check out the other videos in our Gradu8 series, and good luck guys.